I want to welcome everyone here today. My name is Donna Tucker. I'm the Chief Presiding Judge for the King County District Court, and I've been given the honor to start off this celebration today. I want to thank everybody who is here for coming to participate and celebrate the 20th anniversary of the King County Regional Mental Health Court. It's especially fitting that we are able to celebrate this therapeutic collaborative court on World Mental Health Day, October the 10th. Yeah, go ahead and clap. The success that this court has had in helping people get well for the last 20 years and in making our communities safer depends upon the dedication of many of you here. And I want to thank you for all that you've done. Thank you really very much. In just a few minutes, I'm going to ask Judge Paglisati to come up and introduce current and former members of the Regional Mental Health team who have worked tirelessly to make this court a compassionate court where people are actually being assisted. Today, I also want to acknowledge a couple of folks that I have seen in here. Mr. Satterberg, Dan Satterberg, King County Prosecuting Attorney's Office. His office has been an instrumental part of why this court works and the way in which they see their prosecution responsibilities. And I think that the King County Prosecuting Attorney's Office commitment to helping people with mental illness who intersect with our criminal justice system is admirable and is to be applauded. So thank you, Dan, for your support and continued support for this court. One of the things that, and in a few moments also on our agenda today, you'll get to meet is Monica Dengra, who is also a King County prosecutor. She's now a state senator, and she has prosecuted in our mental health court. So you'll get to hear more for her a little bit later. I'll let you clap for her then. But before we get there, and since I have her here, I do want to say that one of the sort of bittersweet things for me is that we still have so many people in the state of Washington who have mental illness who intersect with our criminal justice systems such that our county jails are full of people with mental illness. And I'm hope that in 20 years when we come to celebrate again how we're treating people with compassion who do intersect with the mental health system, that we're also celebrating the state's commitment to help people with and support people with mental illness so that they don't have to intersect with our criminal justice system. So that's my sincere hope, and I wish I had the answers. I don't have the answers, but I hope when we come back in 20 years that that's part of the conversation. And so as a part of that, I want to indicate that Council Member Gossett should be here today as well, and he has provided us out of his own pocket the funds for the cakes in the back. So thank him, and I want to acknowledge his help, his instrumental help in getting Mental Health Court launched 20 years ago. He's been a great advocate for our continued funding in Mental Health Court, and so when he gets here, I'll make sure to say thank you to him as well. So today, our Master of Ceremonies for the celebration has an amazingly positive outlook on life that I'm sure that you're going to find moving and inspiring. Cameron Miles Levy-Jones is a founding member of a Seattle-based alternative rock band called Gypsy Temple, and soon apparently to be called King Youngblood. And building on their own mental health journeys, Cameron and his bandmates are vocal advocates for improving mental health in our community. Their nonprofit called Hold Your Crown is dedicated to helping destigmatize mental illness, in the silence about mental illness, and helping young people find the mental health resources that they need to be well. So I want to ask you in joining me to welcome Cameron Miles Lava.
Hello, everybody. That's the energy we need right there. I appreciate that. Just before we begin, I want to make sure that we take a moment to acknowledge that we are on the unceded, stolen ancestral lands of the Duwamish, Muckleshoot, and Coast Salish peoples, a people that are still here bringing light and honor to their ancient heritage. And I just think it's really important that we keep that reminder that we're standing on land that is not ours. But we continue forth. My name is Cameron Lavi Jones. I am the leader and founding member of Gypsy Temple, soon to be known as King Youngblood. And on behalf of our entire organization, I am so proud to be partnering with the King County Regional Mental Health Court. With all of the work that you guys have been doing over the past 20 years, I'm very ready to celebrate a whole nother 20 years of restorative justice, resource building, and mental health advocacy. So thank you for being here. Thank you for your hard work, and let's continue to make our community a better place. So, a little bit about Gypsy Temple. Just as we've been talking about, our work has really been focused around youth and fighting stigmas about mental health journeys, and trying to change the culture into something that's leading more paths to mental wellness. But aside from myself and my own mental health journey, I want to take an opportunity to introduce to you guys my partner, Corey Cavazos. He's here to speak a little bit about his mental health journey and about Hold Your Crown, so please give him a round of applause.
Thank you so much for having me. Like Cameron said, my name is Corey Cavazos. I'm the cellist in the band Gypsy Temple, soon to be known King Youngblood. Many of us are here today because in some way or another, we have been touched by mental illness. 1 in 5 people suffer from a mental illness. That's 20% of our population. I first discovered my own mental illness when I was the age of 14 years old, as a freshman in high school. I went into psychosis, a state in which the mind loses touch of external reality. The doctor diagnosed me with schizophrenia. In the years following, I suffered from severe depression. After many hours discussing with my psychiatrist, she later diagnosed me with bipolar type 1 disorder. Stigma prevents us from getting the help we need. We are told to put ourselves together, pull yourselves up by the bootstraps, be happier, or just get over it. We are considered dangerous, unfit to have a job, or even have a successful and meaningful life. It took me years to find the proper resources I needed. Along with the struggles that mental illness can bring, over 2 million people living with a mental health condition are booked into jail each year. In a mental health crisis, people are more likely to encounter police than get the medical treatment they need. And once in jail, their conditions often get worse. They are likely to stay longer than their counterparts and are often at risk of victimization. I know from personal experience. In spring 2010, while I was attending California Institute of the Arts, police arrested me while I was in my second bout of psychosis. It was the single worst night of my life. Leading up to the arrest, I found myself in a playground. I was exploring like I was a kid again, as if all the sensations of a warm spring day were being experienced for the first time. I rolled in the grass, completely unaware of the reality that I was a college student, meant to be in class or studying for my next exam. I was incapable of understanding my role as a citizen, but also had no intention of violence or wrongdoing. Suddenly, I found myself pinned to the ground with my hands behind my back. Handcuffed, I was dragged to the parking lot where 4 police cars were parked. I was swarmed by officers interrogating me. They proceeded to yell at me, "Are you on ecstasy? Are you on LSD? Did you smoke crack?" There was little to no time to answer. I didn't know what they were talking about. One officer looked at me and spoke slowly and loudly as if I did not speak English. "Are you on LSD?" And I said, "Yes, I'm on L for love." I was charged with being under the influence. They took me into jail, took my clothes, did not give me a phone call, did not state my Miranda rights. I spent the night in what I truly believe to be hell. I was so scared. After 24 hours of sleepless hours, screaming and dunking my head in the toilet, I was finally taken to the hospital for suicidal intentions. I spent the next 5 days in the hospital recovering. My parents drove from Idaho to take me home, and I spent the summer restoring my mental health. And we did not have the money or resources to address my charges, so I was given a bench warrant for my arrest in the state of California. Out of sight and out of mind, I moved on with my life. I moved to Seattle to attend Cornish College of the Arts. I found a psychiatrist and counselor that set me on a path to stability in my own mental health. Soon, I was applying for work in Seattle. When I received a job offer, the employer required a background check. Because of my warrant for the arrest, I was unable to work. In a spur-of-the-moment decision, my dad and I drove over 1,000 miles to California to see if we could resolve this matter once and for all. It was a nerve-wracking moment in time. If things didn't go right, I risked hefty fines and even jail time. I'm so thankful for my dad's support. Once we reached California, we collected doctor's notes and evidence from the hospital. On the day we went to court to find a public defender, we discovered that the district attorney was covering for the general prosecutor that day. The district attorney reviewed my case, made friendly small talk, and then asked if he could talk to my dad in a private room. I sat in the court waiting. Minutes felt like hours and passed by. My dad came out of the room with tears in his eyes. I feared the worst. I thought, I'm going to jail. But through a waterfall of tears, he told me they are going to drop the charges. What I realized that day was that my dad and I received a miracle. The district attorney had a son who suffered from psychosis and had a history of mental illness. He understood the position that my dad and I were in. Because he knew our experiences, he dropped the charges. Through a stroke of luck, God, the universe, or good intentions, I was unbound from the charges that would have drastically changed my life for the worse. I am grateful for my family and community, helped me recover and maintain my mental health. I received resources that many do not have. While my story has a happy ending, too many do not. The system must do more to provide dignity and prevent injustice for the mentally ill. States need units that are trained to respond to mental health crises. Police need to be trained to identify mental illness and de-escalate rather than respond with violence. Prosecutors should examine their cases in light of people's mental illness, and courts need to recognize mental illness as a contributing factor and treat the issue holistically. I am amazed at the outstanding and important work the Regional Mental Health Court and this team brings to the community. Giving people suffering with mental illness the opportunity to stable housing and mental health resources is essential to a healthy and inclusive community. I want to thank all who are involved for committing to better serving those with mental illness, to committing to a justice system that recognizes the specific needs of those with mental illness. We have a long ways to go, but this court is an important step in the right direction. I am honored to be a part of King Youngblood's nonprofit called Hold Your Crown, where we focus on youth mental health outreach. Breaking stigma and preventing resources to young people, we are proud partners of King County's Regional Mental Health Court. It is with great pride I stand with you today at the Regional Mental Health Court 20th Anniversary Celebration to tell you there is hope, to tell you true justice is possible, that you are not alone. We can break the stigma, end the silence, and people living with mental illness can find stability and live successful and meaningful lives. Thank you for hearing my story.
Wow, I love you. The next thing we're about to do is we're going to play you a video explaining one of King Youngblood's music videos called Today. Personally, it's about my mental health journey and dealing with suicidal thoughts. And I'll let the video explain, and we'll have a chance to look over it and all that. And then after that, Corey and I are going to serenade you with the song that inspired us to put this project together. So. I used to intern over at the Museum of Pop Culture, and at the end of that internship over the summer, I got the opportunity to go to this guitar festival in Montana. And they had a workshop there too. So they had a bunch of students and a bunch of world-class musicians there, all teaching these courses and these classes. But they gave everybody these small electronic cube amps that were totally mobile. You just plugged a battery into them and they went all the way up to 11. And so all of these amazing world-renowned guitarists there, either learning or teaching, were constantly playing 24/7. This festival went on for 2 weeks and I was just 16. I wasn't nearly where I am in terms of ability to play guitar yet, but it started getting to the point of pretty significant sensory overload. I started noticing my mental health significantly deteriorating. I started feeling like I wasn't supposed to be there until I got to the point where I started really doubting my artistry and doubting my ability. I got suicidal. I got to the point where it was so bad that one night I decided that I was gonna grab a kayak from, the little boat docking area that was there at the festival grounds, and I told myself I was gonna take this kayak, and in the middle of Montana at 2 a.m. on this giant lake, I was gonna go out on this lake until I couldn't hear anymore. Just go right in the middle of it in pitch black dark, and I had no intentions of coming back. I was in such an awful headspace. But fortunately, it wasn't until I got a chance to get away from the noise that I was able to hear my own voice. And I was able to talk myself off of the ledge, calm myself down, and remind myself that even though 99% of the people back on shore, back at the festival, were better guitarists than me, that doesn't mean that my artistry has less value. That doesn't mean that my voice means less just because someone else is good with theirs. And ironically, I ended up using all the noise and the sound from all of them playing to find my way back in the dark from the lake. And the minute I hit the shore, I wrote Today.
New worlds, catching thoughts to throw, catching thoughts to grow, catching thoughts to know. Old souls losing thoughts that slow, losing thoughts to show, losing thoughts to know. So don't say exactly what you mean, 'cause today it could all go away. Yesterday is dead and gone, but tomorrow wasn't born by waiting. This is what you had and what you lost, 'cause today is for the breathing. what you had and what you lost. 'Cause today is for the breathing. This is what you had and what you lost. This is what you had and what you lost. This is what you had and what you lost. Yesterday is dead and gone. But tomorrow wasn't born by waiting. This is what you had and what you lost. 'Cause today is for the breathing.
And now we're going to do it live. Just kidding, we're playing an entirely different song. This one's called Up It Comes Down. The second verse has a lyric in it, which is really what inspired the name for our project. It's, whenever up it comes down, I will always be here holding your crown. So thank you guys for being here. This one is for you. 1, 2, 3. I saw you right there, looking so happy. Then I watched you fall. You became a part of me, and I want to help you, but I don't know how. Maybe you could change for me. I'm not a god, I am your friend. Show me your trust until the end. I am a rock, our souls to blend. Wrap hands on a heart, big one day. Can't say we've ever played a chord before, so. I saw inside you, and you had a ring glow. Then I watched you fall into a despair. And I want you to know whenever up becomes down, I will always be here, holding your crown. I'm not a god, I'm your friend. Show me your trust until the end. I The next person I'd like to introduce is someone that has been incredibly integral to the King County Regional Mental Health Court. And I'd like to introduce the Honorable Judge Paglisotti. Her Honor has been putting decades of experience helping people with mental illness and other needs who come into the criminal justice system to connect with the resources they need. This includes working as a public defender for more than 22 years, serving as a juvenile probation counselor, and as presiding judge in King County Community Court in Redmond and in King County Regional Mental Health Court. So please welcome the Honorable Judge Paglisotti.
Good afternoon. That's kind of a hard act to follow, so I apologize if my words won't be too exciting. I am Judge Lisa Paglisotti, and I've got the privilege and honor of not only standing before you today, but the honor and privilege of currently presiding over King County Regional Mental Health Court and Regional Veterans Court. I've got three of my wonderful colleagues who preceded me. I've only been in Regional Mental Health Court for a handful of months now, but it's been fabulous, and I look forward to continuing. We have Judge Chapman, Judge Finkel, and Judge Shaw, who immediately preceded me. They're in the front row here. I'd like them to stand up, and all of them are always available to answer questions for me. At this time, I'd like to invite and ask all of the Regional Mental Health Court current team members to please stand. Please remain standing. And if there's any other former team members over the last 20 years, I would ask you also to stand at this time. Today we have judges, we have probation officers, we have court clinicians, we have court clerks, we have defense attorneys, we have prosecutors, we have our awesome defense social workers, we have public health representatives, and it is as a team that we stand before you today in recognition that there are a number of individuals who enter our criminal justice system who have underlying unaddressed behavioral health needs. We stand before you with respect for each other's roles. We stand before you as a team committed to supporting our participants as they navigate their journey to wellness with hope, dignity, and respect, as well as accountability. We look forward to serving all members of this community for 20 more years, and I thank you for being here this afternoon.
Next up on the menu for tonight, I'd like to introduce to you guys King County Council Member Larry Gossett. He represents District 2. Yes, please. He represents District 2, which includes many Seattle neighborhoods, along with Skyway. He chairs the Law and Justice Committee, is the Vice Chair of Government Accountability and Oversight, and I just think he's really cool. He also serves on several committees, including Health, Housing, and Human Services. Born and raised in Seattle, please give a round of applause for Council Member Gossett, being a public servant for over 45 years.
I have a proclamation from the Martin Luther King Jr. County Council, but before I read it, I'd like to make a few comments about mental health here in our community. The first time that I ever was elected by my colleagues on the King County Council to be the chairperson of our Law and Justice Committee was 1998. And at that time, the majority of the 13 members of the King County Council were Republicans, and I guess I'm considered a liberal Democrat. But politics being as it is, there are no surprises as to what could happen. I was asked to chair the Law and Justice Committee by my fellow colleagues on the King County Council. So I met with then prosecuting attorney Norm Mailing and Dan Satterberg's predecessor and many other representatives of the criminal justice system. And we decided that we had to get on the ball about slowing down the large number of adults that were entering our King County jail as adults, as well as the King County Youth Detention Center up in the central area on 12th and Spruce. At that time, 1998, we had 2,880 men and women in the King County jail. And we had just built a new one the year before that in 97. And we had these national consultants come in and say, y'all gonna have to build another jail in 2008, projecting our growth at the 10% a year that it was occurring at that time. And it was Norm Mailing that said to me, this got to stop. I said, well, let's see what we have to do. And he suggested that two of the things that are keeping a lot of people in our jail, particularly the higher utilizers, was problems with mental health and not having a roof over your head and hanging out on the streets, and street-oriented drug abuse. So we decided right then that here in King County, we were going to start mental health court and drug court. And as part of that, treatment would be a central part of the modalities that we developed for each. And we did not dream that we would be as successful as we ended up being. And it motivated us after we started these two diversion programs that we could identify other programs that could be helpful to the folks incarcerated here in King County. So by the year 2000, just a year after we started these courts, we had completed the Adult Justice Operational Master Plan, and we call that AJUMP, and we had finished JJUMP, Juvenile Justice Operational Master Plans. I'm here to tell all of you that no decision has been more helpful in assisting government leaders here in our community to reduce the number of men and women in jail, either at the adult or the youth level, than the initiation of these programs. The first one born, though, was the mental health court. So I'm really happy to be here as we celebrate the 20th anniversary. One other point I want to make, and this is particularly to the men and women who suffer from mental illness. One of the things that I see as a leader in the community is that a lot of people, particularly mental illness, think that it's their fault that they have mental illness, or their family members think something is really wrong with them. Oh, they crazy. Or the society in general thinks that these are hopeless human beings, and I don't know how they got like that. Well, if you read the literature, most people who suffer from mental illness had some kind of adverse childhood experiences that created a trauma that got them all messed up mentally, physically, and every other way. Others of us, through no fault of our own, have a chemical imbalance which we were born with, and it manifests itself when we get older, usually about 19 or 30 or something like that. And because of this imbalance, It messes with our mental health, our thoughts, patterns, and people again call us crazy as if something is wrong with us. I found that it's really helpful to help clients see that this could happen to anybody. Traumatic experience as a youth or adult, or being born with an imbalance that needs to be adjusted, straightened out, so you can live a healthier life and the public around you can feel healthier and safer because you're getting help. So it's in that context that I read this recognition for drug court, and then I'm going to hand it to our current presiding judge. Whereas the King County District Court initiated a specialized regional mental health court way back on February 17th, 1999, as one of the first such courts in these United States. And whereas the King County Regional Mental Health Court's mission is to engage, support, facilitate the sustained stability of individuals with mental health disorders within the criminal justice system while reducing recidivism, increasing community safety, and creating better health among the individuals impacted by mental illness. Now, therefore, we, the Metropolitan King County Council, and Dow Constantine, the King County Executive, on this, the 20th anniversary, recognize the King County Regional Mental Health Court and ask all individuals, 2.4 million of us that live here in King County, to join those of us here in this courtroom and continue to make a commitment to fighting on behalf of our community, fighting on behalf of those suffering from mental health, and creating the safest, most just community in the country. Dated this 10th day of October 2019.
Thank you.
The real success of King County Regional Mental Health Court is in individual people who are being helped, individual people who are on journeys, individual people that are looking to help themselves and utilizing the resources around them. Candace is a current RMHC participant who would like to share her experience with you. So please welcome Candace.
Hi, everybody. I'm so proud to be here, just standing here in front of all of you. It's amazing that I'm here. I've had a long road for the past 31 years that I've been alive. I've been through so much. Waiting in those jails, not knowing if they were going to send me to Western State, something in my heart told me, Candace, you gotta just give your life to God today. You don't need a pastor right now. You don't need anybody. You gotta get on your knees and just ask the Lord to forgive you and just help you move on. And when they told me, my lawyer told me that I had a chance to get out by taking a plea bargain, I know years before that I had continuously went to jail for things. It was mostly because of drugs and homelessness. But when he asked me that, I said, I actually want to get out and try. I just want to try and see. Maybe this is my chance to overcome my obstacles. And I see a lot of people. I didn't meet you when I got out February 5th, but I remember the judge told me, she said, Candace, I'm giving you a chance. I'm gonna set you up with a lot of different people that can help you. If you just ask them questions and talk to them, let them know who you are, how you feel, what you want to accomplish in life, I bet you they could help you. And it was I see all of you right now, and it just makes me so happy that it's been 9 months and I've got awards from my clean and sober housing. A lot of people, they leave because they go back to drugs, they go back to the streets. And I never knew how much I wanted this until I had people that believed in me. And it makes me so happy. The people that I know on my phone, I have one friend and then I have a few family members I talk to, but it's filled with my probation officer, and he's a mental health specialist. I never even knew they had probation officers that were mental health. So he knows the right things to do for me every time I come to court, every time I come to meet him. And it's so important that I know him because he's just so great. And then I got Sound Mental Health. They're helping me, and these people work together. My housing, Sound Mental Health, and my mental health probation officer, my lawyers. And just to be asked to do this, it just puts another mark on my accomplishments. That's how I feel. I feel like I've accomplished something. So, thank you. I'm grateful, and I think it just took the right people to be in my life. It took wanting to change. After a while, you just get tired of it, tired of living that life. And I see myself for the next year and a half with them to be magical, I'm in Fair Start. I do guest chef night tonight. I'm in my 8th week. And I start my 9th week, then I have a test, and I move to phase 3. After 4 weeks of phase 3, I will be graduate from Fair Start with a up-and-coming job. So, yeah. I just thank you guys so much, and I just need you guys, the workers, the people who stood up, the judges, just stay doing what you do because you're changing lives. People who want to change, you just putting those aspects, those things into our lives to make it attainable, to be better. That means a lot. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much for sharing your story. Also today with us is Suniva. She graduated mental health court and has a really powerful story to tell, so please welcome Suniva as well.
Hi. Oh, yeah. Okay. My name is Suniva McQuay, and I'm pretty nervous to be up here, actually, but I'm up here to say thank you. When this started, I was going to jail on my 6th DUI. I was looking at 5 years plus. I had 4 children as well as a newborn. It was the hardest 11 months I had ever done in my life. And to be released to mental health court and Dave probation, hi Dave. It saved my life and gave me a new future. At first, I felt it was going to be a bit of a struggle. It wasn't because I was necessarily resisting, it's because I didn't know I had a family. I was, how do I start? When I was in jail, they found they did some further testing on me and found out I had, on top of bipolar 1 disorder, I also had an autoimmune disorder. So not only was I feeling as if I was self-medicating for my mental health, but I was self-medicating for my physical well-being. It got me into a lot of trouble. Like I said, 6 DUIs. I was released to mental health court. It was a long journey to get to that point, though. Like I said, 11 months in jail away from all my children, my husband, who's been a phenomenal support through all this. I just didn't think I was gonna make it through. I didn't think I was gonna be able to get out and make it through. When I first started, when I got out, actually, I'm gonna say that. When I got out, I was very closely monitored. And I thought that was gonna be the hugest nuisance that I'd ever have to deal with. But it wasn't. Dave supported me and helped me and guided me and comforted me even on times where I didn't think I'd be able to be comforted. Changed my life. I have my license. I have my license. 11 years I went without a driver's license. And so I have my driver's license now. I'm clean and sober, been clean and sober, stayed clean and sober through this whole program. And just the support, I need everybody to know, just like you said, just the support from the family that we do have, and now the family that we do have. I mean, look at this courtroom. I'm baffled, and thank you guys so much for everything and all the support. I'm trying so hard not to cry. To see you, I didn't get to say goodbye. I graduated from 2 solid years of going to court every month and every 2 months, and I remember in that I got a gift. It was a coin, and I still have that coin. It's in my purse. I didn't bring it up with me, but it's an encouragement. Every time I open my purse, it encourages me to stay clean and sober. I found sobriety through family, I feel like, and through the readiness to be sober, to have that family, and to find a new life, a new way of things. My mother was an alcoholic as well as my father and my grandmother and my grandfather, and I think my grandmother on my father's side as well. So it's been a long line, and I am the first one to break that cycle in my family. Thank you. It's really good. My children are doing very well now. My baby that was a baby, he'll be 4 in February. Yeah, it's just been an amazing journey and an amazing feeling to have so much support. So much support. So I thank you guys, and please continue doing what you're doing for all of those of us who just need your support and your guidance and your help. My children are doing well. Me and my husband are doing well. I've been to Mexico. Never. I was on house arrest a lot of the time throughout this. Before I started this journey, I was on house arrest a lot, and then to jail. They finally had got done and sent me to jail, but it saved my life. It saved my life. So thank you.
Thank you very much, Neva. Someone else I'd like all of you to know is Megan Kelly. Mental Health Court is helping her as a current participant, and I will be reading her poem, Identity in Illness, as well as her message to all of you. I am a woman of color. I am a daughter, a sister, and a friend. I am educated. I am creative, though mostly just with ribbons and glue. I laugh every day with some crying in between. I make mistakes. I am hard on myself. I have a mental illness and a handful of addictions. I am recovering. I will continue to allow for growth and maturity in my life. I will remember my story. I will say thank you every day. Regional Mental Health Court has given me the opportunity to start my journey over and reclaim what it means to live with a mental illness. For so long, I was ashamed to live with any disease and to be thought of as different or weak by my peers. As an adolescent and a young adult, I worked hard to belong to communities I was ultimately outcasted from because I was not managing my symptoms appropriately. I've learned I can have a mental illness without suffering as I once did. I can have relationships and be present in others' lives as they were once present in mine. I use coping skills every day to stay grounded. I go to sober support groups and share my experiences. Without Regional Mental Health Court, I would not have the ability to start my life over in this way. I am grateful for everyone in the court who gave me the support and resources I needed to succeed. That allowed for my mistakes and kept me safe and did not judge me as harshly as I judged myself. My path to recovery has not been linear. I've grown from each challenging experience and look forward to a successful life ahead. Like Megan, many participants in mental health court are talented artists, from poetry to song to the visual arts. Please be sure to check out everything that we have in the back. Really give it a piece of your attention. Having these outlets and these forums are really integral for people. And they're also really easy to enjoy. They're over in the back. Just take a look. The next person I'd like to introduce is State Senator Mankadinga. She represents the 45th Legislative District in Washington State Senate, which covers Redmond. Prior to being elected to the Senate, she worked as a senior deputy prosecuting attorney for the King County Prosecuting Attorney's Office. As chair of Therapeutic Alternative Unit, Ms. Dingra helped develop and oversee the Regional Mental Health Court, Veterans Court, and a diversion program. Please give her a huge round of applause.
Good afternoon. It is such a pleasure for me to be here on the 20th anniversary of celebrating Mental Health Court. I wear two specific hats here today. One, as a state senator from the 45th Legislative District, chair of the Senate Behavioral Health Subcommittee and vice chair of the Senate Law and Justice Committee, and second, as a senior deputy prosecuting attorney. I first learned about mental health court in 2002 when I became a supervisor in district court. Supervisors at that time used to take turns staffing a mental health court calendar. At that time, mental health court only took low-level, nonviolent misdemeanor cases. That's it. Over the last 17 years, I have seen this court develop and expand from those early days to this incredibly effective, life-altering program that it has become today. It has been such an honor for me to have been part of this growth and this journey. As a prosecutor, we get to see people at their worst. But being involved in a therapeutic court, we also get to see people at their best. It is a good reminder to all that we are so much more than the worst day of our lives. I'm so heartened to hear from all of these people today and know that successes, both small and large, occur here on a regular basis. This human story of success, of what resources, support, encouragement, and accountability can attain, is borne out in this courtroom and other therapeutic alternative programs on a daily basis. These successes provide for a stronger, safer community for all of us. The Regional Mental Health Court is truly at the forefront of criminal justice reform, asking questions like, what factors led an individual to commit this crime? How are we as a society, as a criminal justice system, going to respond to those factors so that we can keep the community safe, hold people accountable, and all the while ensuring that the individual has the resources they need so they don't end up in our system again? As a legislator, this is the kind of program we love to see. One that enables people to be successful, has accountability, and saves money. As chair of the Behavioral Health Subcommittee, I'm committed to ensuring that we as a state are providing services and resources as early on as possible and moving our system to an early intervention model of care and away from a crisis response model. This year, we passed laws and provided funding to address forensic mental health, substance use disorder treatment, recovery support services, children's mental health, the continual integration of our physical and behavioral health systems. We added money for training for law enforcement officers and money for co-responder programs that our law enforcement officers can engage in. And so importantly, we provided funding to create more local community options for supportive housing and for clubhouses. While we have made great strides in Olympia, we still have a long way to go to transform our system. And successes like the ones we have heard from today are a testament of what we can truly achieve. So thank you to the team for doing the incredible great work that they do, and congratulations to the graduates for being successful. So thank you.
Thank you very much, Senator. Governor Inslee was unable to make it today, but he gave us a letter that I'd really enjoy reading to you guys. Greetings from the governor, dated October 10th, 2019. I am pleased to extend warm greetings to all of those attending the 20th anniversary celebration of the King County Regional Mental Health Court. This court was launched in 1999 as one of the first mental health courts in the entire United States. The court's mission to engage, support, and facilitate the sustained stability of individuals with mental health disorders within the criminal justice system has proven to be an effective tool in preserving the dignity of those with mental health disorders, all while reducing recidivism and increasing community safety. A 2018 Washington State Department of Social and Health Services report found that the court, quote, is achieving the goal of reducing recidivism and improving community safety while also breaking the cycle of criminal involvement for a significant number of hard-to-serve individuals with extensive prior criminal justice involvement. I applaud you for the work that you have accomplished this far, and I'm eager to see where you go next. Thank you for coming. And please accept my best wishes for an exciting celebration. Very truly yours, Jay Inslee. As we get kind of close to wrapping up here, I would like all of you guys to have a chance to be among the very first people to see a special video. King County TV recently completed this 4-minute story on Regional Mental Health Court. So please enjoy.
Mental health court is a therapeutic court. It's an alternative problem-solving court to help address the underlying issue why the person's in the court.
Mr. Ferris, great job.
Thank you, Your Honor.
So you went to housing intake, you attended your prescriber appointment, you're doing everything probation's asked you to do.
Yes.
How are you feeling about it all? I know it's somewhat overwhelming.
I feel good about it, and I'm grateful to have the chance to make it up in this way.
Good.
Really.
In Regional Mental Health Court, we're looking at behavioral health needs, mental health needs, and substance abuse needs. Therapeutic court differs from our traditional court in that we try to identify ways to concurrently help people while holding them accountable.
Mr. Rinsker said that he didn't know on the last court day. He didn't get notice. He has moved. He does have an updated address if the court would be interested in that.
Yes, it's required to keep us updated of his address.
It's not the traditional court of litigation where you're adversarial. You're more allied in a common goal of trying to
find out what best works for this person.
Instead of just sending them to jail or fining the individual, we get them connected to treatment in the community so they can start on a path towards recovery.
They're recommending that the time be suspended. Can you explain to me your understanding of what a suspended sentence is?
Yeah, if I screw up mental health court, I would get a year in jail.
And can you tell me why you wish to enter mental health court?
The structure and accountability in the housing, because I'll be checking in with a nurse every day.
We look at substance abuse treatment, we look at mental health treatment, we look at housing. We offer housing and treatment to our participants.
Be proactive in identifying how can this person be part of the community rather than trying to ostracize them.
So they're familiar with the same prosecutor, the same defense attorney, the same judge, the same clinicians, and the same probation, and we all strive to have a very supportive environment to help the individual in front of us.
And I do find Mr. Semeka guilty of one count of assault in the 4th degree. Mr. Semeka, now's your opportunity, sir, to tell me anything you'd like me to consider before I decide what sentence to impose in this case.
I'm at a point in my life in which I understand myself and what I need to do in order to become myself and just be an adult. I'm currently looking for a new job.
And with respect to your plans to keep yourself healthy, what are your plans, sir?
I'm going to continue going to treatment. I'm going to continue getting my injectable. I'm grateful for everything, and I've learned a lot about myself in the whole process.
We're having positive results. In 2017, we had over a 50% graduation rate with higher increases in engagement in mental health treatment and substance use treatment, fewer psychiatric hospitalizations, fewer incarcerations, and fewer ER visits. I think that any time that you can support individuals with behavioral health issues while increasing community safety and reducing recidivism is going to be accepted broadly by the community.
You can see that there's a trend towards these type of courts, not just here in King County, where it's been a success and been around for 20 years. I think importantly for the defense, it's getting to the root of the problem, trying to help. There's a painting on this wall here of a chameleon on a branch, and that was done by someone who graduated a month or 2 ago. Hopefully they graduate from this program. Moving forward, they know how to take care of themselves better and how to be healthy for themselves and to enjoy their lives.
One more time, I'm incredibly grateful for all of you, for all of your stories, for everything that you have to say, and for all of your hard work. And here's to the next 20 years.